For 41 years, the official record said Vera Lasko was expelled from the 1983 World Athletics Championships for failing to report to the doping control station. But the International Amateur Athletic Federation made sure you'd never learn that she arrived on time, handed them something they hadn't asked for, and was never heard from again. That's the story they tell. It isn't what happened. Someone made sure you'd never hear this. Here's what the records were rewritten to hide. Vera Lasko was 24 years old in the summer of 1983. She ran the 800 meters, that deceptively brutal middle distance where the body sustains a full sprint for almost 2 full minutes. At the European Cup in Moscow the previous July, she had run 1:53.6. That was the third fastest time recorded by any woman in the world that year. Her coach called it a warm-up. Her federation called it an anomaly. She was not Soviet. She was not East German. She was Yugoslavian, running without the machinery of a state doping program behind her. No blood engineers, no pharmacological support calendar, just a woman who ran. In Helsinki that August, she qualified for the 800-meter final. In front of 68,000 people, she ran the first lap so fast the stadium went quiet. She finished 4th. She walked directly from the track to the infield tent where officials were waiting for post-race testing. She arrived within the required window. The record says she never arrived. That's the first crack. An athletics journalist named Miloš Krajic began requesting documentation in 1987, 4 years after the expulsion. He asked for the doping control log from Helsinki. The federation told him the records from that session had been lost in a filing transfer. He asked for the backup log. There was none. He asked for the name of the doping control officer on duty that evening. The federation told him the officer had retired and could not be located. Krajic found him in 6 weeks. He lived in Stuttgart. He was retired and he was willing to talk. He remembered Vera Lasko because she had not come empty-handed. But here is where the obvious explanation falls apart. This was not a positive test. She had not taken anything. What she handed the control officer that evening was not a urine sample. It was a document. 11 pages of handwritten notes compiled over 18 months, naming 3 officials, including one sitting member of the Federation's medical commission, and detailing a system by which Eastern Bloc athletes were being pre-notified of out-of-competition testing windows. Not their own athletes. Selected athletes from countries the Federation wanted to protect from competition. Rivals. She handed over the pages and told the officer she wanted it logged before the final results were certified. She was disqualified by the following morning. The officer in Stuttgart told Krajic he had passed the document to his supervisor that same night. He did not know what happened after that. He never saw the document again. He never saw Vera Lasko again. Here is what that cost. The athletes protected by those advance notifications competed clean in Helsinki. Their results stood. 3 medaled. 2 competed at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. One of them won gold. The medical commission official named in Lasko's document retired with full honors in 1996. He received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Federation in 2001. His name is on a conference room wall in Monaco. Her name appears nowhere in the building. Krajic published his findings in 1989 in a Yugoslav sports journal. The journal folded the following year. The story was never syndicated. The Federation never responded. Vera Lasko moved back to Ljubljana. She coached youth runners for a decade. She gave one interview in 1991 to a regional paper. She said in translation, "I gave them what I had. I did not think that was the same thing as giving them me." She was 24. She had the 3rd fastest 800 time in the world and no path back to the track. What you were told is that a young woman failed to comply with a routine control procedure. What the record does not say is why the control log disappeared, why the officer was listed as unreachable, why 11 pages handed to a Federation official in 1983 have never surfaced in 41 years of requests. And here is what nobody will say on the record. If the document existed, if it named who she said it named, the statute of limitations expired before anyone started looking. There is no mechanism to reopen it, no sanction available, no medal to return. Her federation accepted the disqualification without appeal. They never asked her what she knew. Miloš Krajic died in 2014. His research notes were donated to an archive in Belgrade. They have been requested once since his death. The request was denied. Somewhere in those 11 pages, there is a name. Maybe the name of the official who made one call before morning in Helsinki, turned a 4th-place finish into a disqualification, and made a 24-year-old woman vanish from a sport she was about to own. What you still don't know is whether anyone with access to that building in Monaco has ever tried to find them.